In Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, within the Kingdom of Ivalice, located on a peninsula surrounded by sea on the north, west, and south, with a headland south of the landmass, and which is heavily populated by human beings, although intelligent monsters can be found living in less populated areas, magic is predominant in the land, though underground ruins and artifacts from its clockwork city of Gog indicate that the past populace relied on machinery such as airships and robots. Ivalice's neighbors are the Kingdom of Ordelia in the east and Ramonda, a military nation to the north. While the three nations share common royal bloodlines, major wars have taken place between them. An influential religious institution known as the Ivalice Church heads the dominant faith, founded around 1200 years ago and centered on a religious figure known as Saint Ajora Ivalice. Ivalice has ended its 50 years war with Ordelia and is in the process of recovering while facing economic problems and political strife. Ivalice's king Ondoria has recently died without naming a successor, leaving the two viable options either the king's infant son, Prince Orinus, backed by Queen Revelia, and her brother Duke Larg, known as the White Lion, leader of the Order of the Northern Sky Army, or the king's adopted daughter, Princess Ovelia, backed by Duke Goltana, known as the Black Lion, leader of the Order of the Southern Sky Army, with the conflict leading to the War of the Lions between the two factions. Nobles and commoners regard each other negatively, and many commoners joined the Corpse Brigade, a revolutionary army of peasant soldiers from the 50 Years' War who were denied pay in its turbulent aftermath, led by Knight Wiegraf Foles to fight against the noble soldiers. Ramza Beowulf is a young man belonging to the noble Beowulf family of knights, consisting of his father Barbaneth, commander of the Northern Sky during the 50 Years' War, his half-brothers Dicedarg, a military tactician, and Zalbog, leader of the Northern Sky under their father, and his sister Alma, a holy cleric. Ramza and Delita Hyrule, his closest childhood friend who was an ordinary commoner before joining him in the Northern Sky, are dispatched to fight against the brigade, before Ramza returns to Barbaneth on his deathbed, tearfully speaking to him just before he dies. Ramza and Delita continue pursuing the brigade, who have captured the Marquis Elmdor de Limberry, along the way rescuing Argath, a noble knight serving Elmdor. After rescuing Elmdor, the group engages in another battle with the brigade, where Delita's sister, Tetra, has been caught in the middle of the fighting, taken hostage, and used as a human shield by one of its members, leading to Zalbog commanding Argath, who despises commoners, to shoot her with a crossbow, killing her, in order to then shoot the brigade member. This enrages Delita, who, joined by Ramza, battles and kills Argath, before a massive explosion of gunpowder separates the duo, who both abandon their ties to the nobility as a result of Tetra's murder. Ramza joins a mercenary group, led by Fell Knight Gofford Gafgarian, to protect Ovelia from being hunted by both factions of the Lion's War, while Delita joins Goltana's forces. They're reunited when Gafgarian reveals his true intentions and attempts to abduct Ovelia and bring her to Larg to be killed, clearing the way for Orinus' ascension to the throne. After Ramza and Delita defeat a group of the Northern Sky and Gafgarian, forcing him to retreat, Agrius Oaks, the knight in charge of protecting Ovelia, suggests they take her to Cardinal Alphonse Delacroix of the Ivalice Church for sanctuary. Along the way, Ramza meets Mustadio, a machinist from Gog in possession of the Taurus piece of Orosite, one of the 13 powerful holy relic magical stones that can be used for good or evil, known as a Zodiac Stone. Hunted by the Barrett Trading Company for the power it contains, Mustadio also seeks Delacroix's intervention and protection. Ramza discovers that the ancient legend of the Holy Zodiac Braves, 12 warriors of light who used the powerful stones to defeat the Lucavi, an immortal race of demons who threatened the world, is being used by High Confessor Marcel Funebris and the Church as a pretense to gather the stones and instigate the Lion's War, secretly and silently controlling Ivalice from the shadows. To prevent Ramza's interference, Delacroix uses the Scorpio Stone to transform into the Lucavi Cuchulainn the Impure, forcing Ramza to battle and defeat him, afterward obtaining the stone. Ramza is then branded as a heretic by the Church and pursued by the Knights Templar, armed Church soldiers led by Folmar of Tengil, who are charged with hunting down the stones. Ramza is then forced to battle and defeat Brigade Leader Wiegraf, who holds the Virgo Stone given him by the Knights, and transforms into the Lucavi Belias the Gigas. Ramza acquires proof of the Church's lies with the Scriptures of Germanique, an accurate historical account written by a disciple of Saint Ajora, the religion's central figure, whom they claim was a holy prophet, but was in reality the human host of the Lucavi's leader, Ultima the High Seraph, and attempts to use it along with the stones to reveal the Church's plot to Orandurai, adopted son of Count Sidolphus Orlandu, aka Thunder God Sid, Lord Commander of the Southern Sky under Goltana. The two Lions War factions face off in a major battle that's used as cover for the deaths of Larg at the hands of Ramza's half-brother Dystarg to further House Beowulf's position in the world, who's revealed to have also killed their father Barbaneth because he sought less prominence through peace instead of war, and Goltana at the hands of Delita, who replaces Orlandu as Knight Devout, commander of the Southern Sky, allowing the Church to eliminate the two faction leaders through its manipulations of all those involved and secure its control over Ivalice in their absence. Ramza ends the battle prematurely by opening the sluice gates of a nearby dam and flooding the battlefield, using the ensuing chaos to rescue Orlandu, who was imprisoned by Goltana for treason when the Church framed him after he questioned Goltana's aggressive path instead of a peaceful one. Afterward, Ramza faces and defeats Marquis Elmdor, holder of the Gemini Stone from the Knights, who transforms into the Lucavi Zalera the Death Seraph. Ramza and his half-brother Zalbog then confront Dystarg regarding his murder of their father, and after they battle and defeat him, he uses the Capricorn Stone granted to him by the Knights to transform into the Lucavi Adramelech the Wroth, killing Zalbog before Ramza manages to kill him and take his stone. Ramza continues journeying around Ivalice to collect more of the stones, along the way defeating ancient mechanical automaton constructs, breaking the Holy Dragon curse on Rhys Dular, fiancé of Templar Beowulf Cadmus, which turns her back into her human form, activating an interdimensional transporter, which teleports Cloud Strife, a legendary hero from another world, into Ivalice, and venturing into the pitch-black depths of the Midlight's Deep Dungeon, where Elidibus, a legendary wizard hero of the 50 Years' War, dwells with a 13th stone, Serpentarius, possessed by a Lucavi of the same name. Ramza then discovers that the Knights themselves are possessed by the Lucavi, who inhabit the stones they hold and whose goal is to resurrect Ultima, and in order to do so, they required Ultima's Virgo Stone, leading to their stone hunt, a massive amount of bloodshed in the world, hence their instigation of the Lions' War, and a suitable host body for Ultima, causing their leader Folmarv, possessed by the Leo Stone's Lucavi Hashmal, bringer of order, Ultima's second in command, to abduct Ramza's sister Alma when the Virgo Stone reacted to her, due in part to her Beowulf lineage, as their ancestor killed Ultima 1200 years earlier. Ramza pursues Folmarv through a portal in the church's Orban Monastery archives to the Necrohole of Maland, an airship graveyard where Saint Ajora was buried, and thus where Ultima can be resurrected. Ramza arrives just before Folmarv can resurrect Ultima in Alma's body, as a final sacrifice of blood is still needed, and the two battle, with Ramza defeating Folmarv after he transforms into Hashmal, who then kills himself, using his blood to revive Ajora within Alma, who breaks free of his control, but Ultima still manages to manifest herself as a separate demonic being. After an intense battle, as a last resort upon nearly being defeated by Ramza and Alma, Ultima transforms into her final Arc Seraph form, but the duo still manage to finally vanquish her, taking possession of all the stones and ending the chaos of the Lucavi. In the aftermath, Ramza and Alma fake their deaths and leave Ivalice to escape Ramza's heretical branding by the Church, and to live their lives free of the Beowulf name and legacy, passing by Alma's fake grave as they depart, allowing Orin, who came to pay his respects, to catch a glimpse of them and know they're alive before they go. Delita marries Ovalia, and they become king and queen of Ivalice, but Ovalia distrusts Delita due to his manipulation of those around him to achieve his goals, leading her to betray him before he has a chance to betray her by grievously stabbing him with a knife, causing him to do the same to her in retaliation. In the distant future, history remembers Delita as the hero of the Lions' War, due to the Church covering up its true events, but historian Arislam J. Durai authors the Zodiac Brave story, revealing the war's events and Ramza as its true hero after discovering the long-hidden Durai papers in the Church's archives written by his ancestor, Orin. Arislam further reveals that Orin spent the next 5 years after Ramza's disappearance compiling the papers detailing the war's events, and sought to reveal the Church's complicity in it at the time, but was burned to death by the Church as a heretic before he could, with his documents confiscated and concealed by them until now.